This Java code represents a simple phone simulator program. In the main method, the program starts by printing a series of messages to the console. The initial lines display a welcome message to the user, including "Welcome to brand new phone simulator" and Oppo A5s. Following this, it prints another welcome message. Finally, it informs the user that it is setting up the phone's Wi-Fi connection. The intriguing part of this code is the call to smartphone setup Wi-Fi, indicating the presence of a smartphone class elsewhere in the code base, which contains a method called setup Wi-Fi. This method is likely responsible for stimulating the process of configuring the phone's Wi-Fi connection. Although the specific implementation details are not provided in this code snippet. In essence, this code serves as a minimalistic representation of a phone startup sequence, providing welcome messages and a hint of Wi-Fi setup, with the actual Wi-Fi configuration logic preceding the smartphone class.
Greetings, Sir Janus. I am Ayumi Angel as Hara, and I will be explaining the first part of our group project smartphone, which is the setup Wi-Fi. So, since we haven't set up the Wi-Fi, it will not be connected. So, here, the first method will be displaying the Wi-Fi options, the available Wi-Fi networks near you. Next is the choose Wi-Fi. So this is where the user can choose a Wi-Fi. So for example, I choose Royal Cable. It will try to connect to Royal Cable, and the user will be able to input the password of the Royal Cable. So we have use a while loop here. So in case the user input an invalid option, it will show invalid option, please try again, and it will loop again to trying to connect again. Next is the main method here, the iConnect Wi-Fi method, which is where we will be entering the password. So the password is password 123, and then it will print out the network details, and you are now connected to the Wi-Fi connection. So if the user inputted an invalid password, sample password, it failed to connect to the Wi-Fi. Now the user cannot be able to enter the smartphone without connecting to a Wi-Fi. Thank you.
My name is Cedric and Blanco, and I am here to present my part in this Java OOP project, which is the smartphone. My assigned task is to create a Gmail setup. First, I initialize the value. Second, I import the Java scanner to prompt the user to input. Third, I use a while loop. It will loop the program until a condition is met. Also, I use a switch case to make the user select a choice. If the user select one, it will continue to log in to email and password. If not, it will output an invalid option. If the user select one, it will continue to log in into email and password. But if the email and password is not equal to what I have been initialized, it is also will result an invalid option. But if it is equal, It will result on login successfully and phone setup is done. Also, it will show where the app that we created is done.
The show main menu method includes 9 options that can call method based on the user input from 1 to 9. These 9 main menu are Gmail, messages, contacts, calculator, clock, games, settings, e-library, and YouTube. If the user input 10, it will display invalid choice, and if the user input non-integer, it will display please input a valid number.
So, greetings, Sir Janos. So, what I'm gonna discuss is about a Gmail app. So, we have initialize email attributes, which is the sender, subject, and the body. Each of them has a return type. Next is create a string representation of the email. This is the recipient where you will send your email, and the subject is what your email is about, and the body is the context of your email. Next is initialize the inbox as an empty array list. This will this will tell you if your inbox is empty. Next is simulate sending an email. Here it will be shown that you have sent your email to the one you want to send. Next is display each email in the inbox. The email you sent will be displayed here. Next is delete an email by specifying its index. This is where you can delete the email you sent. Next is this is the main menu, and we have switch case here represent the main menu. Case 1, prompt the user to enter email details and then send the email. Case 2, display the inbox. Case 3, prompt the user to enter the index of the email to delete. Case 4, exit the email app and return to the main menu. So let's have an example. Let's open Gmail and send email. Recipient, this is where you want to send your email. Let's say Jomal. Next is the subject, title, file, body is words. So the email is sent to Jomal. Next is let's view the email. View inbox. Let's go to the inbox, and this is the inbox. There's the file. Okay. And let's try to delete the email. So enter the index of the email to delete. Let's say number 1. Okay. Email deleted successfully. So the inbox is empty. Let's view the inbox again. Okay. The inbox is empty. Next is exit. Then this is the menu again. That's all.
asking the user if they want to add a message by inputting yes or no. If the user enter yes, they can input message and it can be sent using the method send message, as well as displaying the current time, while if the user input no, it will go back to the main menu.
Dangal greetings, Sir Janos. I am Ayumi Angel as Hara from 2IT-F, and I will be explaining my part in the group project, which is the contacts. So, I created a public contacts which consists of 4 methods, which are the add contact, display contact, search contact, and delete contacts. I also created a array list which will store the contact names and number. Here in the main class, I instantiate the contact class. This is to call out the contact class. I also use the scanner, and this is where it will read the user input. For the menu driven of the contact, I use a while loop. So it will loop the menu. So if the user enter a number, for example, I entered number 1, it will print out a contact name. This is where the user type the name, and underneath is the number, for example, and then this contact will be added to the array list. This this part of the method. So if you try to display the contacts, it will show the contact list, the name, and also the number. The number 1 will be the index of the array. Next is if we try to search a contacts, enter name. So if I entered my name, it will show contact found. This is where the method will start. So I use for loop, and then if statement. So when the user inputted the name, it will show contact found. But if the name is not added, then it will show the contact not found. So next is to delete the contacts, which is the number 4. So enter the number of contact to delete. So you will enter the number 1 right here at the contact list. This is the index of the contacts. So if you try to display the contacts, the contacts that I have added earlier, it will be removed from the array. So if I enter exit, then the program will stop. So what if I try to enter a different number this time? The program will not stop, but it will show a message that it is an invalid option. So the user can repeat the program again by entering the right number. First is to add contacts, like that. Next, I will be explaining why I use string for the variable number. So I use a string because if I use integer, it will only accept 10 integers, which is the 10 numbers only. So I shouldn't have used long or short int, but I use string for the contact numbers, which also works. And that is my part of the program. Thank you.
Dangal greetings, sir. And I'm Allan. I'll be explaining the public static class calculator. So here we declare the static fields for operands, operator, and results. Next, we add a constructor to initialize their default values. So inside the constructor, we also call the method calculate result. Then, sa calculate result method, this method takes user's input for the operator. It enters a while loop that allows the user to perform a calculation repeatedly until they choose to exit. Inside the loop, if the user enters exit, the calculator exits and returns to the main menu. And if the user input a valid operation, it calls the operands method to input the operands. Then, the calculation method to perform the calculation, and finally it displays the result using the display result method. So, and if the user input an invalid operator, it display an error message. Then next is the operand method. Here in the operand method, this method takes user's input for two operands and handles potential input errors. Next is the calculation method. Calculation method. This method performs the calculation based on the chosen operator and the two operands. It also uses the switch case statement to handle different operators and calculate the result accordingly. And if the user inputs a number that it divided to 0, it displays an error message. So here's the valid operator na display the first valid operator. This method checks if the provided operator is valid. And sa display result method, this method displays the first operand, second operand, used operator, and the calculation result. Then sa open calculator method, this method allows you to call or open the calculator which start the calculation process. So here's the output for the static class calculator. So if the user chose to open calculator, the user need to input number 4, then you will be proceed to the calculation. Here, if you input invalid operator, it will have an error. Then you will have to put it again until you input a valid operator like addition. Then 5, 10, then if you have an invalid operand here, it will have an error. 5, 50, 10. Then if the user want to exit, it should be exit. User input, exit na lang. Ta-da! That's all for the static class calculator. Thank you.
So first, I will teach you how I create the clockup in our project. So I import the necessary classes from the java.util and java.text packages. So I create a simple format time formatter object to format the current time in the desired format. So HH, MM, and SS, which represents hours, minutes, and seconds, and returns it as a string. So in the main method, I create an instance of the clock class and continuously display the current time, updating it every second, and that the clock still has a method that sets the timer and will print if the user wants to use a timer. And if the user input yes, it will proceed to set the timer, and if no, it will automatically close the clock and go back to the menu. And if the user prompt to input invalid option, the program will ask the user again for valid input.
So, dangal greetings, sir. I am Mico Valencia and I will be the one that will present or explain the games part of our smartphone project. So first, we instantiate or created an object called game for this feature. And then next, we provided a static class called games. Then we declare three variables such as the unknown number, the maximum number, and the attempts. Next is the parameterized constructor, which contains the maximum number. So the maximum number was set to 100. Going back, in this line, we can see the word random. Since this is a guessing game, we decided that the system or the program will be the one to select the random number to be guessed by the user. For this to happen, we used or we used the tool or we imported the tool random utility. And this line records the attempts made by the user, his or her guesses. And next part is the method for the guessing the game. So here we also included a scanner for the user enter his or her guesses. And the boolean was set to false because the user haven't guessed the right number yet. So these lines will provide the user the instruction. So let's try and play the game. So I will just select 6 to open games. So welcome to the number guessing game. I am thinking of a number between 1 and 100. So enter your guess. Let's say 30. Since my guess is lower than the selected number by the system, it printed try a higher number. Then let's try 60. It told us to enter a higher number. So let's say 70. Again, higher number, 80. Higher number again, 90. Lower number. Since we entered a lower number, since we entered a higher number, different from the unknown number which is selected by the program, it told us to enter a lower number. So let's try 85. Then higher number, 87. Higher number, 88. So yun, we got the unknown number which is number 88. It printed congratulations, you guessed the number, the unknown number such as the number 88, and the number of attempts it took us before getting the right answer, which is 8 attempts. So after that, after we guess the right number, the boolean will now be set to true and will ask us for another game if we want to play another game. So in this part, if we typed yes, we can play another game. The method play game will be run again by the program for us to play again. And if we type no, the games part will now be closed and will now be redirected to the main menu. So let's type here no. So there we go. The games part is now closed and we are now back to the main menu to select another options if we want to.
Hello sir, I'm Roel E. Villadiego. So for my part for this group project is the settings in the main menu. So now I'm going to discuss what are the contents of the entire settings. So let's open the settings. Upon opening the settings, we can see that there are four options, which is the first, passwords and security. So the second is about phone, three, reset phone, and four, of course, exit settings. So let's try the first one. Let's try. So as we can see, there is a set password, edit password, remove password, and go back to settings. So let's try removing a password first without setting up a password first. Of course, since there are no passwords set, the program will ask for the password to be set first before the user will be able to remove a password. The same goes with the edit password. So let's try setting up password first. 1, 2, 3. Password set successfully, and now let's try to edit password. So let's try the entered password first. Let's try the new one. There you go. Password update successfully. Now let's try the third one. Enter the 1, 2, 3, 4. Password removed successfully. So let's try. Let's now try to remove again the password. Password must be removed, must be set before removing. So let's keep the password for now. Let's try 1, 2, 3. And now let's try to go back in the settings menu. Let's try about phone. So in this, we just fetched this description from one of our groupmates' phone specs and just paste it here, just to visualize what are the about phones of the smartphone now currently is. Let's try to go back to settings. Let's choose yes. And now let's try the third options, which is the exit settings, a reset phone. So before resetting the phone or the program itself, we must enter the latest password that we had just set, which is password 1, 2, 3. For that, we must agree with this, which is yes. Enter the password, and the program itself or the phone itself resets from the start, just like a brand new smartphone or smartphone that you had just reset. Let's try again and go back to the settings. And second, let's view if the password that we just reset moments ago was still there. Let's try passwords and security, and now let's try to remove the password. Of course, since we reset the phone, just like in other usual smartphones nowadays, all of the contents of the smartphone after resetting will be deleted, even the password. So now let's try to analyze the source code for the smartphone.
So we are now in the smartphone class. So what I did here was I contain the entire codes for the settings menu inside a public static class settings. So inside the public static class settings, so the first thing we can see here is the initialization of our variables, which is the static string phone password and the static boolean password set. Next that we can see is the public static void set password, which is the method on getting the password in the passwords and security menu inside the settings. The next method that we can see is the edit password, which is used for editing the password that we have just set. And also the remove password method, which is the method used for removing the existing password. All those three methods were mainly used inside the passwords and security menu. The reset phone method. So this method was specifically made to reset all the values from different static public classes. These values were the ones that can be overwritten by the user upon the runtime of the program. The main purpose of this method was to reset all those values back to default. Just like in a smartphone, upon resetting the phone, all of the contents of the smartphone itself will be deleted permanently. Reset phone with password. So this method is the one who checks if there's a password that has been set if the user chooses to reset the phone. So of course, if there's a password set, this method will ask the user to input the existing password. But if there's none, it would still reset in the normal way, just like in other smartphones. The next one is the show settings method. Since it has numerical options, I use the switch case scenario to make things easier. The same way goes to the show passwords and security, since it also has numerical options. For me to be able to assign conditions for each options much easier. So last but not the least, the show about phone method. So this method was created for us to be able to show what would happen if the user views the descriptions of a phone. And that is all for settings.
Dangal greetings, Sir Janus. I am Chris Jasper Velitario, presenting the E library. We use public static class here and static variable, static string variable, and username, password, and we set a list here. The variable is available books. We create a method to authenticate the user's account. It is set to boolean if the username will match to the inputted by the user and the password. So if we choose 8, it opens the library, and as far as I say, if you enter the username and password to authenticate out, it should be matched to the username and password you set in the code. So the set format here is user and admin. So the authentication was successful. And if you want to display available books, we use the constructor here, a default constructor which a library, and we create a new object which is available books equals to new array list. We use array list to add more items and store to the array, like CSS 107, CSS 108, and CSS 109, so on and so forth. If you choose the option 1, which is this to display available books, you can see that the store values here on the array list we can see here. So if you want to check out a book, just click or just type the code of the book, which example CSS 107. If you want to check out the CSS 107, just type this CSS 107 only. Enter the title of the book, so CSS 107, and if you can see here, the book was checked out successfully. And if you want to check out the book again, CSS 107, the item will be removed through the code, because we use contain method and remove method. The contain method, the function of it is to remain or store or check the value that we store on the RA disk. And the remove method, if we choose another item like CSS107, it will remove to the constructor we initialize on the available books. So if we choose option 1 again, we will see here that the CSS107 was removed to the display list of available books. And if you want um, and if you want to exit the program, just click option 3 and it will successfully exit the program. Thank you. Dangal greetings Sir Janus. I am Chris Jasper Velitario presenting the YouTube class in our smartphone. We use public static class YouTube. We use public static class again because um, the use of public static class is to instantiate a new object and to create a new set of constructors like parameterized constructor and the default constructor. So here um, we initialize the string for title, string for account name, string for user password, and the release YouTube for the uploaded videos. We create a constructor to type the string title, which we will see here below later. And um, we, we create a getter method to get the title of the constructor we initialized before. And a constructor YouTube account, string account name and string password to authenticate or log in through YouTube account. And a method to authenticate the user's password the user if the user wants to upload a video like this. Um, if we choose option 9, it opens the YouTube and account name. Any name you want to input, like my name lang, quiz. Enter your user password, pass103. Random password, random password. And if you want to upload a video, just click the option 1. So here, we create a method to upload the video, method for list uploaded videos, and to exit the program. So the number one option was to upload a video. If you choose the upload video, the system or program, um, it lets you enter the password again to authenticate that it was you. So pass 103, the password we made earlier, and here we can see that we can enter a video title na. So enter the video title, example tutorial. It will print that the video tutorial was uploaded by me. You will see here that video plus video title and was successfully uploaded by account name. The account name, it is the account name Chris. And if you want to upload the video again, same scenario, authenticate the password +103, enter the video title you want to upload again, example project overview. So the project overview was successfully uploaded by me again. And two, if you want to list the uploaded videos you made, just click the option 2 and you will see that your uploaded videos are here. Tutorial and project overview. It is the method we use in these uploaded videos. And if you want to exit the program, just click the tree again, the option 3 again, and it executes the program properly. Thank you. That's all.